And we're back, everybody, with another video, and today we're going to talk about patterns of behavior against companies and people who do shady things, and those shady things come back to bite them in the ass much later on. And in this situation, this is turning into a pattern. I had a subscriber send me an article that will have you in tears laughing, and I've got to share it with you. At first, it's been raining all morning. We missed Cars and Coffee. My daughter's not feeling well upstairs, so I'm talking a little quiet right now. And it finally stopped raining, and I think I've got a window where I can at least take this beauty for a little cruise, fill it up with gas, and have this conversation with you all. So let's jump in the Demon, since she has not been driven as much as I would have loved to have been driving her. Let's see how she sounds from a cold start. Alright, let's jump in, start this conversation, go fill this baby up with gas, because if tomorrow's a beautiful day, we're going to be out driving it and doing something in it. Maybe I'll put ethanol in it today, since I'm down to less than a quarter tank, and then do a video tomorrow to show you the horsepower jump and tell you about ethanol. Everything I learned about ethanol, because I like to understand things before I actually try them, and I think it's some interesting stuff I learned. Alright, let's head to the gas station and we'll have this conversation somewhere along the way, but let's go pump some ethanol in here. It says I've got 36 miles of range. So that means there is like very little to nothing in here. I think I might as well put the ethanol. Now, by the way, I did mention in a few of my videos that I wanted to have this thing broken in before I stuck ethanol in. There is not a requirement that I'm aware of that I have to do that. I had a few people tell me I should just wait because it doesn't make sense. What am I going to do with all the horsepower if I'm breaking this thing in, and all it's going to do is take my fuel efficiency down significantly, and I might as well drive around and just use the regular premium. But I'm at 36 miles and I'm tempted, and I just want to see the horsepower go up. So let's go ahead and throw some ethanol in here. Plus, it's only $2.99 a gallon, even though I get 30% less fuel mileage. It's pretty much equivalent, I would imagine. But let's go ahead and put some gas in here, and then we'll have this conversation. And when I say gas, I mean like corn fuel. But I'll do a POV video soon, so you can be part of this driving experience, because it is insane. This car is ridiculous. Now, some of you have been driving very fast cars your whole life, and I've had some fast cars, but I've never had anything this ridiculous. This utterly, astonishingly ridiculous. It's just nuts, and I'm not on ethanol yet. Unfortunately, I have an ethanol station, or a station with ethanol, literally like 2 blocks away from my house. So I'll always be able to get my hands on that stuff. Ooh, I don't know if you heard that pop. Oh, let's drop the windows, let you hear a little bit here. Promise we'll get to the point real quick. We'll get to the story real fast. This is just too much fun. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. Crackle and pop in the back. Shoot, started sprinkling. I wanted to keep this thing out of the rain. A little bit of water never killed anybody, but it still sucks. Ceramic coating's coming, I think, next week, so I'm trying to keep it clean here. Let's go ahead and pull up and check this out. There she is, 85 ethanol, $2.79 a gallon, compared to California prices of Supreme 91 is $51.99, $5.20 versus $2.79 for ethanol. But remember, 30% less efficient, which means I'm likely in the same exact spot either way. So the whole myth about that being cheaper and better to run on, it's only if you want to get a bunch more horsepower and spend more time at the gas station, because I'll be filling up quicker, I imagine. And by the way, thank you for commenting, folks, and letting me know why there's no brake release down here, because apparently that's only something on the manual, so that makes sense. So I reached down here and popped the hood instead of the brake, and it's still a foot brake on the Demon. but that makes sense. So thanks for the input in the comments as usual. All right, so while we're filling up, let's have a conversation about what happened with this lady. So in 2019, this lady, last name Thompson apparently, in this article, she took her Ram truck to Mac Haik in Flowood, Mississippi to get it serviced, to get a repair done. There's no way we're already filled. $39? There's no way. Wait a minute, folks. Is that it? That might be it. I certainly don't want to overfill this thing. Yeah, 14 gallons for $39. Well, that's a significant difference. Woo, smell that corn. All right, no receipt. Now that we don't talk outside the car, let's jump in the car and have the conversation, while we see where this horsepower is going to go with the ethanol. All right, let's go. All right, sitting at 900 horsepower, and that should change by the time this video's done. So I'll let it run for a little bit while we talk, see what happens here. All right, so let's talk about Miss Thompson. Miss Thompson takes her Ram truck into Mac Haik in Flowood for some repairs. And while it's there, she's out driving around town and sees her Ram truck driving down the highway. So she decides to follow the guy in her truck, which was one of these service people, and find out where the heck he's going. Apparently he's racing in and out of traffic and tailgating people, and she follows him. And I'm gonna read the story because it's hilarious when you read it, as long as it's not you going through it, as long as it's not your car that's being driven by some random service technician. Now, yes, I know that they have to test drive the cars. I know that, understand that, but she goes into that in this story, that it was more than that, and I think you'll get that in a second. So let's jump in here. She did what anyone would do when she saw her truck driving down the street. In today's universe, with smartphones and social media, she captured the moment and shared it on Facebook. At that moment, you see a Mac Haik employee test driving your Dodge down Lakeland Drive, tailgating another vehicle. I followed him to see if my truck would make it back in one piece, because I know it doesn't stop on a dime, and at this point, just wanted him out of it, Thompson wrote. Thompson said the technician drove to Lowe's about 2 miles down the road from the dealership. She said she'd waited 20 minutes while the man was inside doing his shopping when she called the dealership to ask them if they knew where her truck was. She then made her boldest move yet. She said she found a spare key in her purse and took her truck back, leaving the technician stranded in the parking lot. You know, every now and then I get a little crazy. I'll own that. I found my spare key out of my purse, and I stole my own Dodge back from Lowe's parking lot. Because you see, I'm a Home Depot kind of girl anyways, she said. Thompson said she returned to the dealership and confronted someone there. She claims someone at the dealership offered to service her vehicle for free, with one condition. She was asked not to post her story to social media. Thompson didn't listen. She put, don't mess with my family, my animals, my money, my truck. Nobody drives Big Bertha, as she calls her truck, like that, nobody. William LaGrange, the dealership's general manager, commented on a follow-up post from Thompson, I am fully aware of the situation that has occurred, and I am disgusted that an employee of mine would take a customer's vehicle for anything other than official use. I take full responsibility for what has occurred. Swift action has taken place and will continue to take place, LaGrange said in the Facebook comment. LaGrange said the employee who took the truck had been fired and that the service manager had been suspended. LaGrange also said he has invited Thompson and her husband to meet with him so he could formally apologize in person. Penny and her family have every single right to be mad at what has happened. I am embarrassed, both professionally and personally, by what has occurred, and I will do what it takes to make sure something like this never happen again, he said. Robert Watson, owner and operator of the dealership, told Clarion Ledger Thursday that he accepts responsibility for the incident, and he said he'd make sure the service technicians were properly trained on how to handle customer vehicles. He vowed the situation would not happen again. We love our customers, and simply put, it just didn't happen that time. We're not running from it. We're apologizing and hitting it head on. We should treat customers' vehicles better than we treat our own vehicles, he said. And he goes on, the story goes on, he provided the following statement on the incident. On behalf of the entire Mac Haik family of dealerships, we apologize for the unfortunate experience our customer received from the Mac Haik Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Flowwood dealership. Mac Haik Flowwood strives to always exceed our customers' expectations. Our Texas and Mississippi locations have a long-standing history of meeting this expectation, and we employ 350 hardworking Mississippi employees who accept this challenge each and every day. We recently fell short on this goal and have taken appropriate company action against the employee who violated our policies. We trust that this one action will not tarnish the good name and reputation of our company and our remaining employees who stand committed to our philosophy of strong business ethics, superior customer service, and commitment to excellence. So here's the deal. They fired that service guy and maybe the service manager too, but they fired people. So in this case, who's getting fired for messing with this service member's Demon 170? I'm looking forward to the statement that comes out here. I know that every YouTuber in the world at this point is taking point on the service member situation, and after reading this and then also reading, it's funny, they're getting really good at apologies, because let me see how long ago this was on the drive. You all remember this with the Z06? So the Z06 situation was in 2022. So the dude going shopping for construction stuff at Lowe's was in 2019. This internet backlash forced dealer to sell Corvette Z06 at MSRP after planned $90,000 markup with a $6,000 non-refundable deposit. To me, that's one of the big part of the issues. $90,000 is insane, and everybody's doing horrible stuff, and that's not cool. But the $6,000 non-refundable deposit that they did, and then when they got caught and they got busted and lambasted online, they decided to sell their Z06s at MSRP and wrote a whole bunch of apologies back then too. And then now we're in this situation. But what has happened in between? I'm going to let TK's Garage and Butter do those videos if they decide to share all the other stuff that they're learning, which sounds like there's stuff they're learning. I'm not privy to that information enough to speak on it, but I can speak on 2019, they jack a lady's car, go driving it around, and I'm sorry, if you're doing a test drive in my car, you don't have permission to go to Home Depot and pick up some stuff to remodel your kitchen. You just don't get to do that. You get to drive it around a little bit to try to find the issue, listen closely, try to find out what the issue is. You're not going running errands in my car. Fair enough? You just can't do that, which is why somebody got fired. And in this case with a service member, somebody needs to be fired. I think someone needs to lose their job, and William LaGrange is the one taking point on this thing, it seems like. So William, you're getting good at these apologies. So let's go ahead and see who's losing their job now. Now my advice in this whole service member situation is, I think the service member should not buy a car from them. He should work with Tim Kuniskis and get that demon, whatever demon they're going to send him, whatever allocation they're going to pull out, whatever built car they have that's not sold yet, should get sent to a different dealership. At this point, they should just completely cut this off, since to date we haven't seen any public response to this whole situation from LaGrange or that dealership. And I expect TK's Garage may get one, so go watch his channel. He's down there in Houston right now. He may have a conversation with them, and it'd be nice to see them really step up. But until that happens, I think guys should take Tim up on his offer, get the car allocated to a different and sent to a different dealership, wherever they're going to get that car from. And I believe there's plenty of cars that are still unsold that they can get traded or sold in, and Tim can pull that favor and get that car delivered to a dealership that maybe doesn't do this kind of thing to people. And I look forward to hearing the apology. I look forward to hearing who lost their job for making this stupid error with a service member. And more of these articles keep coming out. This article was sent to me from a subscriber. I'm not going to share his name because I don't think people, always want their name put up online. But he sent it to me today, and I sat there just, it's like you're laughing, but you're angry at the same time that this kind of thing takes place. Let me share this with you. Many years ago, I was working on a company where the owner of the company decided to send us to this personality test assessment thing. And I learned at the time that this assistant manager that I had hired had had a situation, or had a personality type where he outsourced his integrity, meaning whoever the strongest personality he was around, he would adopt those qualities. And it was interesting to learn about this kind of psychology. But basically what he told me is, even though this guy had done things in the past that weren't that great, he was around leaders that weren't that great. But if he's around us, great leaders, strong leaders, high integrity leaders, that he would outsource his integrity and become that. And what's wild is, for like 3 years we worked together, and he was phenomenal and had integrity and did nothing like what he did before. And what's tough is there are people out there like that, and a lot of times people who don't have that personality flaw who are impressionable will simply look to their leadership at their company or their parents in their household and mirror and match that behavior. So if leadership is slimy and doing slimy and crooked things, then that becomes the norm and becomes the rule and becomes the baseline for how everybody else behaves. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening there, but based on the last 3 news articles that most dealers don't have about them, this dealer does, it looks like someone in leadership needs to go, and they need to do a revamp and really instill some massive integrity. It's one thing to say that you always do the right thing, you want to do the right thing, you value your customers. It's another thing to actually do it. Now, I just filled this thing up with ethanol, and it's sitting at 900 horsepower. Why is it not going up? Do I have to do something? Well, let's start driving it a little bit. Maybe I haven't tapped into the ethanol yet since I haven't driven much, so let's mix that gas around and see what happens with this horsepower. And then we'll wrap this video up, folks. All right, it's going up. It's going up. Let's watch it. I'll let you guys watch the screen, I'll watch the road. How about that? 942. 950, 962, 965, 970, 976. Oh my. And my little gas gauge here says it's at E46. So, see what happens here. You guys watch that. I'm just glancing at it. 989. Wow, we're gonna hit 1,000. 992. And then it dropped to 912. So it's mixing that gas up. I'm guessing 1,005, 1,008 horsepower. Wow, folks, we are driving a 1,000 horsepower car. 1,008. It's hanging at 1,008, folks. Can we get 1,025? Let's mix it up a little bit. Jiggle it around in there. 1,013. 1,018. Come on. Give me the 1,025. Let's pop a wheelie here. Just kidding. 1,024. Here we are. 1,024. Come on, give me that one more horsepower. Change colors. One more horsepower. You can do it. All right, we have got 1,024 horsepower. That's what we got. That's what we reached with the ethanol, and that's a bummer. I think we will. Whoops! I think we will certainly get there, and we'll get there in the next video. So I will leave you all hanging with this. Just stuck at 1,024. No question, I'll burn off some of this gas. We'll get down to straight ethanol. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, share this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.